It's another episode of Getting Gritty with It. We have Yarif Wallach, my partner in crime. Hello,
What's up,
Yarif.
buddy? What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Good to see you
And we
again.
have a very special guest, a legend. And yes, I will call him a legend because that's exactly what he is. He's one of the most passionate people, one of the most compassionate people. Kurtis Gabriel, who helps out the community, is just very vocal socially on social platforms because you have to be in today's day and age. He has a voice. Kurtis, hello, how are you?
Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for that intro. It's awesome. It was great talking to you before we started here, and to Yuri too. But I'm doing great, guys. You got me at a great time. Energy's jiving right now. Feel really good. Positivity's flowing. I'm having a great week as always, and I'm just excited to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Love that.
Damn, I love the positivity because pretty much we're pretty positive people. So when we see other people that are just as positive, it seems like you've had like 9 cups of coffee. When in reality, you've only had one. But you know what? You're just
No.
life.
Zero stimulants, zero nothing. I am straight high on life, bro. I've gone through so much crap, and I know I'm going to go through a lot more, but I know that now I'm going to deal with it so much better because I just kind of get it now. I don't know if that's a thing growing up or becoming a man. It took me till 27. So, I used to be the most negative person, and I still have that voice in there that's so negative, but now I just say, screw off, man.
Oh, that's so interesting.
It rubbed off on your teammates because there wasn't one player that had anything bad to say about you this past season for the Phantoms or for the Flyers, when you spent time with the Flyers there, through training camp and stuff. So every person, literally, that I have talked to, oh, Kurtis, he's a great guy.
I appreciate that. That's heartwarming for me to hear. This is kind of an interesting thing I'll share. I was talking about it. I'm working with a new kind of branding company, and we're getting to know each other, and you kind of have to divulge who you are. And I gave her all these kind of scenarios, and this is how it works. Every team I join, so I've joined 2 new organizations the past 2 seasons. Every team I join, there's half the guys at the start of the year that see me the first couple of days, and they think, what is wrong with this guy? Like, he is either so cocky or so confident, whatever, that he's just like, he's freaking me out, and I don't know what his motives are. And then you have the other half, they're like, all right, like, he's a little different. We'll see how it goes. And by the end of the year, we actually joke about the guys that used to thought I was nuts, but now they know I'm nuts. I'm just like coming from the best place possible. And that's me in a nutshell. So I'll push the envelope. I'll maybe step over, but it's always the best intent. And I never want to be shot as a lamb. I want to be shot as a wolf or a lion. That's my whole saying, is like, I'm always going to be told to calm it down and not turn it up.
Oh, I love that so much. But you gotta push that boundary though a little bit. It kind of shocks those around you. I mean, let's be honest. Hockey is not like a Mr. Nice Guy sport. So bringing that attitude, I would say, is probably a benefit, especially in the long run.
Dude, this is where I was telling you I get sometimes too passionate, and I'm like tempering some things. It's like I don't know. I've tried to stick in the NHL. It hasn't happened. I've tried everything I possibly can. Thought outside the box. I think what I bring as far as a locker room thing is what you want. I know I'm not afraid to say things to ruffle feathers, but it comes from the right place. I'm not afraid to push the envelope. I'm not afraid to practice like it's my last day on the ice every day. I'm not afraid to do that. And some people don't like that, as we found out in this world through all these social injustices, and people don't like to hold themselves accountable sometimes. People don't like to be pushed. And what I say to that is, dude, I'm 27. I don't know how old you guys are. You got kids down there, but we're dying in the next 30, 40 years. We're not going to be here. So I don't know what you believe in coming back and all that stuff, but I think I rot in the ground and get eaten by worms. So I'm not coming back. So I'm going to live like I'm dying, and I want the most out of it, and I want to experience the most. And for me, that's on a team. It's pushing the envelope every day. It's with my buddies skating right now. I'm yelling at my buddies to shoulder check because I didn't do that growing up, and it's sometimes I don't know what's going on, and I don't have better hockey awareness because I can't check my shoulder. So the little things matter, and I call you out on it, and I want to be called out on that. I don't know what the problem with that is. Everybody's so insensitive. Everybody's so, I can't be pushed. I can't be, what are we doing with hockey then?
There's a difference between nice and caring, right? And it seems to me, I mean, from what I'm judging, that you care a lot, right?
Yeah, but I also need to check myself when sometimes the ultimate leaders, they know when to come to a guy like me, and I know I like to get fired up, and then they need to go to a guy that's a little more sensitive and be like, hey, treat him as a friend more. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I lose that because I'm so type A, and that's where I have to check myself and kind of treat guys on an individual basis, and not like old school hockey coaches yelling at everyone. So I'm learning that as well. But again, it's always going to be trying to pull me down, not bring me up. And I think that makes sense with given my role.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think people are afraid into today's society. I think
Jamie, you hit the mute button, buddy.
Yeah, you got the mute button there, Jamie. Oh, all right. We're gonna let him run it out. We're gonna let him run it out, and we're gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. He'll figure it out here.
You're on mute. We can't hear you.
You're on mute.
I don't think he realized that he hit the mute button.
I don't think he realized either. It says right there that he's on mute. That's fine. That's fine. He'll figure it out here.
Wait.
Mute.
Did he get it?
Can you hear me?
There he is.
Yeah,
there we go. Here we go. We kept it going. We kept it going without you. What were you saying?
Yeah, go ahead, Jamie.
I think people are afraid of being defeated. I think people are scared of that today. I think they're scared, and that's why they don't like to hear the word no. Or people, they're just. I think it's a huge mental thing today. Going on. In my opinion, anyway. I see it at work all the time. People like just there's some lack of self-confidence and stuff. And I think a lot of it has to do with, just feeling as though that if they try to push that envelope, that they may not succeed. So they're going to, just give up. And
that's a very interesting point. That's a very interesting point because I'm going to say this again. I remember I said, I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
And when I said it, I've been thinking about it since. You can't really say that because then that's saying I don't need to grow anymore. So you always have to have a growth mindset. So me saying I get it, dude, something's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to test probably everything in me. Something's going to go, who knows what could happen, right? So I always need to have the growth mindset. I don't get it yet, but so far I just know that I used to be very sensitive and very negative and not get things, but by looking introspectively into myself and working at myself, now I know like I'm on a secure foundation where I really can't be offended to this point. And what really just offends me is social injustice and injustice in my personal life where I just call it out when I see.
But you have I'm sorry, Jamie. Go ahead, buddy.
No, go ahead, buddy.
Well, I was just going to say, but you have a framework. I think that's what you were trying to say, right? That you don't get it, but you understand the tools that you need to deal with the problems that you'll come into in life, right? And again, we're going to talk about hockey, but with hockey, there's a repetitive pattern between hockey and life, right? Like the struggles that you meet in the locker room, on the ice, you're going to meet stuff like that in person, right? If you have the right mentality to deal with it, you'll be able to deal with the things that come with you, right? If you have the wrong mentality, you won't have the framework to deal with that stuff, right? And I know you mentioned your brother a little bit prior to us jumping on here. I mean, I think family is a huge part of that. And I think a lot of people who look at success in their life, having a good family foundation, close friends, whoever they are around you, a good locker room, right? These are the things that help you deal with the problems that you are going to experience inevitably.
I mean, of course, and not just hockey, every sport. Really, anything you undertake in life has lessons to be learned. Of course, we're sensitive to hockey, and we believe it's the greatest game in the world. And other people, it is. You can do it in different ways, though. But yeah, but like you said, I have tools now that I have in place, and I have a heightened sense of awareness. So when something does happen, I don't go. Sometimes I do still. I go emotional, but now I go. This is what I'm trying to do. I try to zoom out like a bird's eye view. When I get scratched, I'm up in the press box. Hockey looks so easy, right? Oh, you should have made that play. You should have made that play. If you can somehow in the moment take out emotion, zoom out and see it for what it is, you're never really going to make a wrong decision. And if you do, you made it with a clear conscience. It's when you're emotional and reactionary. Now, I'm a hockey player. I fight people. I need to be reactionary. So I have to walk this line between ice life, off ice life. So on the ice, they want me to be as emotional reactionary as possible. I'm sure. I mean, I've been told, fire it up. But off the ice, dealing with these social justice issues, dealing with myself, it has to be take the emotion out of it, what's really happening, and then bring the emotion back, bring love back, not hate, and put it to use and use that emotion as a positive, not a negative.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. And, that's a trait that's hard to do is to bring it in and see yourself, see your soul of who you are. Because you know what? I speak heavily on social justice myself. I love everybody. I love the LGBTQ community. And my next question for you was, how did you get involved into that community? Because you know what? We need people like you, people with a voice. Because you know what? I'm only Jamie Basco. So my following, although I have a pretty decent following on Twitter, people don't know me like say you now, and that's why I think what's so great about you and other people that speak up, for instance, other players who have voiced their opinions at the wrongs, what is going on in today's society. I really appreciate that because they have a huge voice. How did you get involved into the community, and what are some of your efforts moving forward?
Yeah, so I got involved with it I was dating my ex-girlfriend back in 2018, and she had friends that her and two friends worked at a clothing store together. And a girl was already out, another one was not out, but they got in a relationship, and it was, they're still going, and it's a great relationship. So I saw a sweetheart of a girl, of a woman who never would hurt a fly, like my now girlfriend, but she got not disowned, she got unsupported from her family financially when she's going to school, and her family have a lot of money. And I saw her go through that through my ex-girlfriend, and how hard it was. They moved in together, working extra jobs. It just didn't need to happen. And coming from a place where I am the most naive person before this, I am a white professional athlete. I grew up in a house with zero religion, zero political biases. And that's both a negative and a positive. So I was like, what? So I went into the next season, and I happened to, fate would have it, things happen in funny ways. I'm up there for Pride Night. I just scored my first NHL goal 2 nights earlier. And they say, hey guys, before the game, they come in and say, hey, put Pride tape on your sticks and then take it off after your warm up if you want, kind of thing. And I said, okay, well, I'm trying to stay in the NHL, so I don't want to change anything. I want to keep my black tape on my blade.
Yeah, right.
And so I want to make it clear my focus is on the game. And so I put the tape at the, kind of just below where I grip my stick at the top. And I went up for warm up, was buzzing, feeling good. I'm playing the Montreal Canadiens, first time, or I think it was the first time or second time, team I've always wanted to play against, and growing up in Toronto area. And I come back in after warm up, and everybody's taking the tape off. And I literally, as I have said, it's a 2-second decision. I look at my stick in the corner. I'm in the pigeon corner beside the speaker because I'm a new call up guy. And I go, it's more work for me to take that tape off than to, keep it on my stick. And maybe somebody will notice. That went through my head in 2 seconds, and boom, I was back into playing the Montreal Canadiens. So my confidence is at all-time high. I just scored my first NHL goal 2 games before. I'm out there, I'm hitting, I'm playing well, and I score another goal it's the highlight of my life to this point, no doubt about it. Best feeling I've ever had in my life. Way more than the first one, just the way it happened. And I got room to celebrate. I got room to just scream at the top of my lungs and jump into the boards. And I was like, I did it, I'm here, I'm earning these goals. And it's just like a fluky first one. And after the game, I'm coming off, we win the game, it's the game winner, nationally televised in Canada. I sit down and I go to my change cell, and my phone's blowing up because I scored again, and because I scored a goal for inclusion. So the first player to use it in a game, not use it in a game, Jonathan Huberdeau used it in a game, but never did any kind of media towards or anything, and didn't really run with it. So I scored a goal with it. And then talking to Jeff McLean, Dean Petrick, Dr. Christopher Wells that started Pride Tape, it just took off from there. With how much it meant to people, I was like, why would I ever stop using this? As long as they give me the tape, I'll put it on my stick.
Right. Wow.
And then I mean, thank you. But I think your question was, what am I doing forward? Going forward, it's working with all these people in this community I've built within this community, my own friends, and they're the most accepting people in the world. I would challenge anyone to go work with people from this community, and they're not from a community. They're just people. They're just accepting people, because at the end of the day, that's what they are. And they just want to be, respected for loving who they want to love. So It's been amazing. And there's so many things, kind of one big thing in the works behind the scenes kind of thing. And that's going to stay that way for a while. And, but we just have so many things going on that we think can change the world.
Yeah. I mean, they're people. And that's the thing about it. Like, everyone has a heart. But it's getting better. not all there yet, but it is moving forward. And you know what? I'm going to strive to, assist and try to push forward, as well as much as possible, because I believe in your passage, but I believe in, people. I love people. I value human life. And, it doesn't bother me. I just don't understand the.
Well, actually, what's funny enough is my former agent, I will, people can figure out if that's who it is if they want to. Great relationship with this guy. Recently let him go, but he actually is against, same-sex marriage, and which is very interesting, right? Why would the guy that's an ally, why would I have an agent that does that? But that's because we need to be able to talk to these people. I'm not part of this cancel. Of course we need to, there's two, like I've been seeing all these articles, there's cancel culture, and then there's like just educational culture almost. Like we need to educate instead of just like, we need to get their attention, I guess. But when you yell at people, you turn them off to a conversation. Nobody wants to talk. We're all defensive, stubborn people at the end of the day. Like we want to safeguard what is ours. So now that he's not my agent, we've been talking. I said, hey, I'd love to continue talking about your beliefs. I just had a 35-minute call with him before this. And
that's awesome.
I've talked to multiple different people he knows that are Christian, Catholic, whatever. And I know where he's coming from. Now, do I agree in any sense? No. But the only way I can respectively talk to him is if I'm actively trying to see his side. Okay. So I'm actively in discussion
100%.
And it got heated slightly a couple of times, but because of our history, we have a mutual respect for each other. Like he's like, I was like, it's kind of weird to say, but it's like, just because he thinks these people, it's not the way to live, it doesn't mean he wants to like eradicate them. It doesn't mean he wants to like do any harm to them, but freedom of speech is what we have. And that's what's special about over here. That's what people fought in the wars for. So for him to be able to voice that to me and say his opinion, he has every right to. Now, just because you disagree and you think that our side is the right side doesn't give us the right to like put him down, I don't think, because that ends conversation. So I'm really getting into this whole, it's such a complex issue. But for me, and what I voiced to him is that at the end of the day, who gives you any right to tell any other person what they can do with their body, who they date, how they live their life? What is wrong with that? Why do you care? And he basically said he does care. So that's the root of the issue.
That's actually really interesting there, but I think you're spot on, right? And while maybe he didn't agree with you, this is getting super philosophical, while he didn't agree with you in that moment, I wonder if you maybe did bridge the gap more than you even realize. And sometimes change happens slowly, right? It doesn't necessarily happen in that one phone call, but again, understanding why, right? Why you feel a certain way, why he feels a certain way. Now you actually know how to approach those conversations, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm totally into that. I love that answer, actually.
Dude, and I don't know if you saw, I'm not to, personal plug myself here, but I did a Gillette ad. And what I said in that was, I'm approaching how I try to be a better hockey player as I'm approaching how to be a better person, citizen, ally, whatever, better boyfriend, better son, better brother. Me and my brother go at it all the time, even though he's amazing. But so I have to get uncomfortable. What do I do? What have I done this week? I just bag myself every morning. I have 3 workouts a day sometimes. I run 5K at 7 a.m. I do a heavy lower body lift that kills my knees, tendons. I have to go stretch. I have to do mobility. Then I I eat some food quick. I'm all sweaty. You're changing in the parking lot. I'm not having fun, but you know what? I rip music and I'm having fun that way. I choose to enjoy it. Then I go skate. I'm dead tired. I come home, eat. I fly on my bed. And then I could either sleep and watch movies the rest of the day, or I can get uncomfortable and work at being a better person. And that's the accountability we need to have. And that's my message, is that love is love, and control what you can control and do it with love. Don't control what you control and be a bad person. That's only half right. Control what you can control. Don't worry about anybody else, and do what you're doing with love. And I'm telling you, things are going to reciprocate and come back around, and everybody's going to win.
100%. And love, I say this quite often, love is an action. It's easy to say you love somebody, but it's actually a do. It's something you do for people. It's not just, I love this person. If you love something, you care about it, you act on it. So totally agree with that. I do want to go, I think that's a perfect segue into this next question. In Ohio, you got a community award from the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. This seems kind of related to who you are as a person. How did that happen? How did that mean to you? What did that mean to you specifically to get that kind of award?
Yeah, well, first of all, I would say that there's many guys doing lots of great work, and just because I was actually recognized in Iowa as well. I won it there once for my team, and then now here. So it's not like I stopped in between. So just because you get an award doesn't mean you're not doing something. So that's the first thing I'd say. And the second is that honestly, I've been wrong in the past. I thought hockey was everything. I thought it was, if I don't make it, I'm gonna die, and that's part of the reason probably I got here, because I cared about that much. But at the same time, that's not a way to live life. So I came into pro hockey. I wasn't ready to talk on social issues. I wasn't ready to go talk to, I do school visits in junior, but nothing too crazy. But then you start to get out to like a hospital, see a kid with cancer, or you get older and you kind of start to see the world a different place. I started to realize, like, going out and talking to these people, what's the actual what you're doing? You're donating your time. Time is precious, but you're donating it and you're getting them out of their world. So whether that kid has cancer, you get him out of that world for 10 minutes. We went to a hospital this past year, and I love dinosaurs, and this little kid he's 4 years old. He's in the hospital. He loves dinosaurs. We're doing Christmas. I pull out a dinosaur when we play with dinosaurs for 10 minutes, and I got something out of it too. He gets out of his world. I get out of my world of freaking out about hockey all the time. Dude, that's not what it's about. Hockey's not life anymore. We love it, but it's like, I know now that I identify as a person, not as a hockey player. So if that's true, I go out and do these things and give back to the community and make myself useful, not just a hockey player that fights people on the ice and it's cool, So that's kind of how it's genesis for me, I guess. And I kind of get annoyed of people saying, like, you don't get anything out of charity. You do. Like, that's a fact. You get out what you put in. I'm going to help these kids, and I get out of my own world. Like, it can't just be, of course I'm doing it for the first thing, not for me, for them. But I found from that I can take it into my own life, and it's just more love coming into my life. I don't know. So I sometimes people think that may be weird to say, but it's a two-way street, and I love win-wins in life. Of course I'll do it if I didn't get anything out of it, because that's my responsibility as a hockey player, as a person with a platform. But why can't things be win-wins? Why can't there be more love? There's so much love to go around.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Kurt, you were playing some good hockey. Then, unfortunately, an injury arose. How hard is it to overcome the mental aspect of the game, playing the game you love? You sustain this injury when you were playing some really good hockey. And how hard is it to overcome the mental aspect of that particular injury? And focus on, trying to, come back to the game, trying to, be kind to your family, but understand that you're going through something as well.
Well, I know you're referencing my injury with Philadelphia in the training camp, but to me, that's not even an injury. So this is where I should probably clear the air on some things. So a real injury is like getting your wrist sliced by a skate and having two tendons cut and 75% of my nerve. I was out 11 and a half weeks. It was awful. That's an injury, okay? What I had in Philadelphia's training camp looked like I tore my whole knee. I had a grade 1 sprain. So I went down on it weird. And initially, I had never felt that feeling before. I'd never, knock on wood, had a knee injury. So I was like, something's wrong here. I don't know what it was, but I thought I blew my whole knee. They thought I did too. Even afterwards, he's moving it around. He's like, I don't know, it could be torn. It's hard to tell. So we do the MRI. It comes back, it's a grade 1 sprain. I'm like, oh, like I'm going on the ice tomorrow. And they're like, well, no, you're not. Like, you got to be careful. It's like, I'm like, you said a grade 1 sprain is structurally strong. It's a bruise, basically. It's a slight, like, strained bruise, right? So I saw no reason not to keep playing. And I was held out 5 to 6 days. I was then sent down, and I couldn't control that. So what did I do? I went to work in Lehigh Valley, and yeah, it's not fun. I trained, I was the best shape of my life. I think I finished 5th in fitness testing at Philadelphia's camp, but couldn't have been going better. So I had put in a summer work that surpassed everything I've ever done. So it was awful, but I also have gone through things now. And like I said, I try to control what I can control. So I went down to Lehigh, and I said within 6 days, I was on the ice doing bag skates to keep my shape. I didn't want to lose it. I didn't want to lose what I built. And I went down there, and we had our own training camp out there. The ice in Lehigh at that time, oh my God, it was like 30 degrees outside. It was horrendous. I just remember it was awful. It's like a sweatshop in there. Like, so I'm skating to stay in shape, and then I get a Gordie Howe hat trick in the first weekend. My first 2 games as a fan, goal, assist, and a fight. And I thought I deserved a chance to come up. Now that didn't happen. Again, I can't control that. So I just tried to become a better player all year. Control what I can control. It did not go anywhere the way we wanted down there. But like, you going back to your question, is that, it's extremely hard, but I've been through these ones now. I've had some concussions. I've had this, but other than that, I can't be really more fortunate. I haven't had the major injury besides this one. So it's very hard, but you have to shift your life to being like, okay, my job was a hockey player. Now it's just to get back to being that, and you just have to embrace it. Like, you have to embrace the suck. So that's what I do, but it's awful. People, your family members don't want to see you going through that. So it's all around. But at the end of the day, you're playing hockey, and why is it the greatest sport? Because it's crazy. It's a crazy game to play. Like, you are gonna get hurt. It's an inevitable fact.
Yeah.
Well, not to make your head weird, but you're a fan. You in reality, you are a fan favorite. There's many people that love you. There's many people that like your work and stuff, and who are rooting for you. Many people I encounter on a daily basis, people have nothing but good to say about you. And I just want to let you know that you were definitely taking notice at camp and stuff. And God bless you. But you know, you got a future. You know, keep your head up.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
For sure. And I do recall, actually, I remember from the 24/7 series, obviously we don't have much access, right? But I do remember the clip of you. I remember the knee injury. I remember you saying, please don't be torn. Please, like, talking to yourself, right? And obviously they don't show the whole story, like you're saying, clear the air. They never do. But I do think that kind of, again, seems pretty consistent with your mindset, right? Of, you know, getting knocked down and getting right back up. It's almost like, do you ever consider that? Again, I know you're not religious. I'm not religious either. But, like, life is very strange. It has a narrative to it in some kind of way. Do you ever consider that these tests that you're kind of put in front of are help building you, not to just a better person, but better hockey player, a better teammate, and everything? Do you find that pattern?
Yeah. So just because I'm not religious doesn't mean I don't believe in there's something going on. It just doesn't mean there's a guy in a robe telling people that they can't be homosexual. So just because it's not that doesn't mean I mean, there's something going on out there, dude. I'm like a big into the aliens. Like, I think science wins out. At the end of the day, there's something though, right? There's gotta be something. So I just think, from my own personal experience, life for me in a nutshell is just a simple saying. It's run at your passion. That's so, to me, I don't know if that's my religion, but it is. Like, I just see something, my wayfinder's going, oh, I like that. Run at it. Try to tackle it. Oh, I missed it. And that door closes. Okay, now I shift my focus and do that. Like, that's my religion. And then getting uncomfortable and then controlling what you control and love is love. So I 100% agree with you. And I kind of, like, I'm into the whole law of attraction thing. I'm not going to lie. Like, that to me is also something funny. Like, that's what you're basically talking about, is that when you run at something and you truly be your authentic true self, I think that's existence. Like, that's life. So that's why I really get, passionate about people telling people they can't be them true selves. Because at the end of the day, say a person wants to, 10 years old, you're a boy and you think you're born in a boy's body, but you're a girl and you want to be transitioned to a woman. That's your prerogative. Who am I to say that that's wrong? If you, and this happens. I mean, it's the fact of the matter. It's just like, what's the difference between you go to a new gym, you think, you set up a new gym and you're like, oh, this is going to be great. You get there and it's not good. Okay. So that's okay. Then switch back to the gym. If you want to switch and change your gender, and that's your decision, you got to live with the consequences. Who am I to say that that's right or wrong? So I don't get it. So to bear your question, I kind of rant sometimes, but I do think life is about just being your true self, and everything else takes care of itself if you truly, truly keep going at that. That's my religion thing.
And do you find yourself saying that to people in the locker room, like fellow teammates? Because everybody goes through their struggles, right? You're not the only one who's fighting for that spot, and limited spots too.
No, so limited. Dude, it's 600 whatever people that play in the NHL every year. It's crazy. So, there's always those couple guys in the team that we have great late night chats, that when the boys get together for some drinks or whatever, right? You have great late night talks. Alex Lyon, this guy is another level of human being. Like,
very intelligent, huh?
Oh, dude.
I can tell.
Dude. First day I did an interview with him over Zoom, and we talked about it. I said the first day I got to know him, he was just throwing me these sarcastic barbs. And I'm like, what are you saying to me right now? Like, I'm not great with sarcasm. I'm almost so gullible. I don't see it. I trust people too much. So he tested me, but at least he said I had the wherewithal to be like, okay, whoa, what are you doing and why are you doing it? But he's like, he likes to test you. And that built a great relationship between us. And we just talk about this stuff nonstop. What we're talking about, I can't shut up about it. Me and my brother, when we go home to Owen Sound and see my mom, we go for walks. Okay. Me and my brother cannot talk about small talk. which is not in our vocabulary. We talk
I know
only
the
about
feeling.
this. My mom's 10 feet in front of us, and she goes, "Can you shut up? Please let me walk with my dog and let me hear the birds and let me talk to my sons. I don't have the energy." And I'm like, "Mom, I love you, but we have the energy for this, and you made us, so you gotta live with it. I'm sorry. When Ian's not here, I'll chill out for you. I know how to Ian is just, my brother's just straight deep talk. So that's all I do with people, honestly."
I love that.
Alex has done so much for this site over the course of years. He is a phenomenal person. His 2 call-ups, I was fortunate to be in the at practice, in the locker room with him. You could talk to him just like you were saying for like 20, 25 minutes. And I think that's probably his Yale-ness coming out or whatever. He's so smart. But you are too, though, from your talking and stuff like that. You guys are very well educated, and maybe that's why you guys have that type of bond with one another, And my next question that I would have, and this is my this would be my final question, but I could
got one more.
Other questions and stuff. But is it tough to be known as a physical person when, for instance, like this past season for the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, you chipped in 5 goals and tallied 4 assists. So you provide a little more than just, people say, "Hey, yeah, Gabriel, yeah, physical." No, well, you could chip in a big goal too. And you have done that. And you've done it, at the NHL level as well when you were given the shot. Is it hard for you to put that aside and say, "Hey, I'm a little more than I provide a little more than physical presence"?
Wow. I mean, this is like one of the banes of my existence, I guess. This is a topic I could talk to you for all day about. So how do I attack it where, in this kind of form? I guess what I would start by saying is the NHL is a role league, okay? So you do not make it just because you're good. You make it because you can fill a need of a team to win hockey games, okay? So it's like that in Europe as well, but it's just like a guy like me could go over in a certain league in Europe and be like a second-line player, right? So it's just how it is. So there's a role. So whether I like it or not, whether other guys like it or not, if you think about my role, it's so simple in saying it, but it's so hard to do. So, but at the same time, because it's going away from the game, I'm such a unique person in the game, and it's a kind of a fact.
Yep.
I'm a dinosaur now, but no, dude, I'm an adapting dinosaur. I can change, I can figure it out. I'm not a set in stone person. So, I think it makes me unique, and I think there's no reason that I don't have a spot personally, it's my opinion, in the NHL doing that role, because how many two-way penalty killers are you going to have? I mean, you can have 11 other players that can skate like the wind, and I'm not slow. So, when it comes down to my skating or my skills and all this stuff, it's like, what do you want out of that guy? There's always going to be one guy on the team that's going to play the 8 to 10 minutes. So what do you want out of that? Do you want the perfect amount of, the most amazing amount of passion you've ever heard? That's what I bring. That's what I do. So you can have that, or you can have a guy that's, scared to even look at anybody. If somebody says boo, he'll be, I don't want to get near that guy. So hockey is, at the end of the day, still there's an intimidation factor in hockey. I talked to my new agent today about a team, and there's a guy, he knows the player. He'll block a shot, but he won't ever, if somebody says, "I'm going to kill you on the ice," he won't go, "Oh, I'm going to get you first." He'll say, "Oh, okay, I'm going to shrink up now." So that's, I don't know. I play well because I don't drive a line. That's not my role to drive a line. Okay. You put pucks in areas where I can get the puck back to you and then go to the net. I make room for you. I protect my team. I'm not driving anything. I do my role, and I do it very well. So it just depends what you want. I don't know.
I think that completely explains why you've been called up. We actually talk about this quite often, and there's that term intangibles that always goes around. That's what the media likes to use, and I don't like that term. I prefer love for the teammate. That's what I tell people that it really is. Are you the guy who's going to go in the corners? Are you the guy who's going to say something to somebody on the bench, in the locker room? It's that is your role, and that role will never die in the NHL, in my opinion. Intimidation will always be a factor, because it's not just a factor in hockey, but it's a factor in life. You can get intimidated by people down the street. So I think your role is crucial in a lot of ways, to be honest with you. And I think it shows. And I think that's why, I mean, from what I saw in the interviews, I think that's why AV was talking about you to begin with. He was talking about you and Chris Stewart. And in my mind, it was very clear why both of you were there. And again, we're not jumping on the Flyers, but this is something that kind of lacked from the team from a little bit of fight, a little bit of bite. And I think that is your value. And I would not quit on that at all. Being 27, I would say you're actually in your prime now to be that guy, because being a young person in that role is a lot more difficult than a full adult.
Hey, and I'll make one note about the Flyers too. We're definitely not jumping on them. Look at the year they had. And then they bring in a guy like Nate Thompson. They bring in a guy like Nate Thompson, who when Tom Wilson's running around, at least they have someone that's going to go, hey, Tom, that's not okay. And he doesn't have to win the fight. He doesn't have to win the fight. I don't have to win every fight.
Right.
It's that every time someone says, screw you, I'm coming after you or your team, I always step up. And Nate Thompson stepped up. Nick Ave-Kubel, my boy, he handled his little middleweight buddy like sick. You know, like, you've got to have that team pack mentality, and you don't always have to have a leader of it. You know, it's a guy like me, I guess, but you need the team. So I'm very happy that they had that. I'm all about love, right? Like, if I don't need to be there, I don't need to be there. They're doing great without me. So honestly, kudos to them. But like you were saying, being 27, and I'm sick and tired of being almost too nice now. Like, I'm ready to like take what's kind of mine, honestly. Like, I want that spot. Like, I can go down the list of stories why I think so. But Bruce Boudreau told me when I got sent down at 23 years old, we'd won 13 games in a row. It was the year the Minnesota Wild had their record-setting year. Fought like 5 times in 13 games, I think, or 12 games. I was just doing everything I possibly could. My hands were stitched together. I was still fighting. And he brings me back. He brings me on the plane. He says, you know what? Like, I love having you here. The boys love having you here. You make everyone bigger, but you're 23, and I think I see you as like a Reeves. You're not going to be ready till you're 27. He didn't make it till 26, 27. And I said, of course, I was not happy about it. And I went back there, and I still am not happy about it. But that's an uncomfortable conversation that I had to hear, I guess. I could go into a whole bunch of other stuff, but if I have to still take out the noise and listen to the message, you know, of course it's emotional. I don't like that, but hey, I guess I'm 27 now. I haven't given up. I told Craig Channel when I got drafted, he said he was my last meeting with Minnesota Wild, 2 hours at Tim Hortons down the street from my house. He said, what do I take back to Chuck to tell him to draft you? Like, this is how it works. Have guys, and then they advocate for them in the draft room, right? He said, what can I tell him? I said, doesn't matter what happens, whatever, I'm not going to stop trying to make the NHL. It doesn't matter how long I'm down here, I'm not going to stop trying. Until every team literally says, get the hell away from us, I'll go play somewhere else. But I don't think that's time theirs yet. And I think even there's teams that desperately need someone like me, to be completely honest with you.
I would agree with that.
Right,
I would agree with that.
Darn right they do. And you know what? The Flyers may need that next year as well, because if unfortunately, if Nate Thompson does not resign, now I'm not saying he isn't, but if he doesn't, then, you know, there's a physical aspect that's, you know, missing there. A guy that has, you know, sort of like Tom Wilson skills like you, who could chip in goals, you know, have a nice pass and stuff. So
yeah, well, he's a fourth line center, right? He wins face-offs. He does so many intangible things. He PKs. Like, I get it. Like, I'm a fan first before I'm a hockey player. I get it. Like, I know what's going on. So, but him doing that makes Robert Hagg bigger. Robert Hagg was all of a sudden like a mean dude out there. You know what I mean? Like, he started playing. He's always been a physical D-man, but he was like mean. He was giving people. I was watching the games. Like, come on, like that's what exactly. And then when he did hit, and somebody came and said, "Oh, I don't like that," he said, "Well, I don't care," and cross-checked him back. Like, that's what you need, and that's, I think, obviously what Flyers fans love. And I'm so happy to see that, you know, a guy like Nate came in and brought that out of guys.
I call Nate the bearded warrior.
Yeah. he's an animal. I mean, he's a thick dude. He's overcome so much in his life, as we've now seen. So, like, kudos to him, man.
Yeah. It's awesome. So I think we got one last question here. This is our last question. I think we'll cut from there. I think we touched on it a little bit, but plans after hockey. Like, let's try to think a little bit in the future. Let's assume you're 37, right? Let's assume it's towards the end. But what do you got anything brewing in your mind that you want to take forward?
Oh yeah, I'm planning. I had 2 calls after you guys. Remember, I said we had to time this interview. I got a call with my brand people, and it's all about being authentic. And then after that, I have a partnership. Like, it's going, man. And that's the big key that switched for me. So when I say I get it, you know, I don't really get it, but I've come around to new things. And my new girlfriend's changed a lot too. That's another story for another day. I love you, babe. But like, it's like before when I was playing hockey and I got drafted in the Wild and I was, going through the first 5 years, it was like, if I don't, as I said, or if I don't make it, I'm going to die. Like my existence is dependent on that. And now I don't see it as that. As I said, I'm a person that is obsessed with hockey and will put my body on the line and my life on the line to play hockey. And that's what I choose to do. So that's a big switch for me. And maybe I would have been able to stay up there in Minnesota, in New Jersey, had I had a little bit more of a balanced life, had I had a little bit more maturity and experience. And some people are different. I don't know. I don't understand, honestly, how like an 18-year-old Sidney Crosby steps in and does what he does. Of course, he's so talented, but it's in here. It's talent up here, not just in his hands. Okay. Nathan, whatever. I just don't understand 18, the maturity, the knowledge to do that. And maybe your skill overrides. I don't get it. So for me, I'm not that guy. I'm a late bloomer. I got undrafted to OHL, drafted the last possible time I could. Everything's taken longer for me, but it just takes me longer to figure things out. And that's okay. That's
same here, dude.
Exactly. So
hey, you know what, Kurt? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go home to my 8 kids. I have our little own baseball team forming, hockey team, basketball team, or whatever. That's
Tell them that, dude. That's what you need to tell them. But
I hope hockey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. But I hope hockey, like you're saying. But like, dude, if I make it back there, it would be what I've always worked for. If I don't, I'm going to be all right. I got so many things going. I have so many great people in my life. We're trying to change the world through activism, and through that, I can make money with partnerships and all that stuff and support myself. I got my amazing girlfriend who's blowing up on her own stuff. Like, I'm awesome. Good, man. All I want to do is come in.
Too?
Yep, Allied T-shirts on my LinkedIn and my Instagram. Like, all I want to do is I just have the dream of being a fourth line guy, the unsung kind of dude that just gets to lift the cup last. I don't care, but I just want to lift that over my head and scream like I did after my first goal. That's what drives me, honest to God. I mean, obviously I want to get to the NHL first, but that's what I want to do, man.
Love that answer.
Kurt, thank you so much for coming on and spending time with us, with your Reef and myself. And I'll speak on us. This is definitely by far the best podcast that we've ever performed because of how nice and, man, you're well spoken, well educated. You could see it. I don't know. You're not trained by any means. That's just you as your person, your true natural self really it comes out like on video. And I wish a lot more people could. I hope a lot of people are going to watch this so they can see the true Kurtis Gabriel for sure.
Agreed. Yeah, we're gonna be rooting for you.
Thank you. Well, hey, it's just reps. Like, as I said to you before, I've done 15 interviews and podcasts over the quarantine. I get better every one too. You can't just walk in to be good at something. Like some people do, but I certainly don't. So this is just practice. And this is the best I've ever talked about this stuff. So I'm going to pump it all over for you guys because I want to spread my message too. So thank you so much for the platform. You guys are great guys. You're great guys to receive this from me and to reciprocate kind of this feeling.
100%, man.
Thank you so much, Kurt. We wish you nothing but the best.
Yeah. And nothing but love. I love that. Let's end with love.
And positivity, for real.
Perfect. Love is love. Do it with love. Control what you can do. That's all you got to do, guys.
I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.